Hey everybody, welcome back to Video Game So today I got a fun and exciting video for you guys today because we're going to be going over the demo of Sovietborgs. The developers actually got in contact with me and wanted to send me a copy of the game, but it's not a copy of the final game, it's actually the demo put on a Sega Genesis cart. And honestly, I can't remember the last time anyone produced an entire cartridge just for a demo to showcase around, but that's what the devs of Sovietborgs did, so I figured we'd be taking a look at it today. Before we get too far involved though, do me a huge favor down below, hit like and subscribe and ring that notification bell, definitely helps us out. And if you feel so inclined and want to support the channel, we got a Patreon link down below as well. But it seems like the devs of Sovietborgs are targeting absolutely every platform out there. We're testing on Sega Genesis or Mega Drive today, but there's also going to be a Neo Geo release of the game. And while the prices do go up as far as the cartridge you want, the Neo Geo version is always going to be more expensive. It is fun to see this actually being a multi-platform release, and I know Dreamcast is in the works as well. Right off the top, this game is definitely giving me some big Captain Quasar vibes, at least on 3DO. One of my favorite 3DO games of all times, even if maybe the developers weren't really going for that. It kind of feels like something like Smash TV mixed together with some sort of other running gun game, and obviously it takes place in a Soviet Union that actually won the war and now controls basically the rest of humanity. I'm sure the storyline will get a lot deeper when we have a final game, but of course in the demo, it's kind of surface level stuff. But the fun part is, at least in my limited experience with this game, it totally is a vibe, and it has a lot of fun things going on. You'll see here you have 3 different Sovietborgs, the robots in the game, and you have 3 different sections of the health bar at the lower left hand corner of the screen. If you take enough hits to reduce down 1/3 of the bar, one of your robots is going to go away, and you basically have to health up to get them back. And because when you do shoot, your character's direction is locked off, it's one of those things, the more bots you have on screen at once, the more real estate you can cover in bullets. And you'll see here there is a TNT case as well, because you do have bombs in the game and other power-ups. Once you hit that, everything on screen just gets blown away. Now I will say I am a fan of the colorways here, but it might be something you might want more color in. But as far as this cartridge is concerned, apparently the devs made 28 copies of this demo cart, and it's pretty fun just to see something like this be done, because again, I can't think of any other demo game for some sort of new retro release that actually produced physical copies of just the demo to showcase around. And having these gigantic chickens come out of these eggs and fight you, it is a big cockfest from start to finish, obviously, or at least that's how I see it. But as far as the overall stylings are concerned, I get some Amiga vibes here as well in the overall graphics and colorways on offer. I'm sure as later stages come up when the game is finished, those colors will change, but it is kind of the aesthetic they're going for. And I do love these shambling zombies here. Not really a threat when there's only 1 or 2 on screen, but basically all the enemies here are going to gang up on you. And it definitely has some Gauntlet vibes as well, just in that overall gameplay aesthetic where you really have to manage your screen space and make sure that you're shooting all the enemies and keeping them from being on screen too long, which definitely gives you some big Gauntlet vibes as well. But the fun part about this demo is the exploration, because there really isn't any one path to take. You're going to see these different TNT plungers throughout the world, and you have to destroy those to be able to knock down walls to get to different areas in the game. And now that we've gone through that wall, we have a new enemy as well. This gigantic green, whatever the hell it is, kind of looks like a lizard as well as a face hugger put together with a spider. Something you probably wouldn't want to meet in real life, but in a game, just shoot it and move on with your day. But there's something about this demo definitely is intriguing me, and if it is something you want to support, I've left the actual crowdfunding link down below in the description. Support it, don't support it, totally up to you. I'm just here to demo the game. But leave me a comment down below and you tell me, on the art style, are you into it or are you not into it? I personally like it, but I feel like maybe a few people would say they want a little bit more color in the game. But again, this is still a work in progress development build, so it's not like this is going to be the final product, but so far what I'm seeing definitely is promising. Now as far as the cartridge in of itself is concerned, let's take a little bit of a closer look, because again, I do love the fact that this thing actually has a physical release just as a demo. It couldn't have been a small task to get these things printed up and produced just to kind of showcase them around to different people that do videos and everything else like that. So we'll get into the cartridge, and then we'll actually give you a soundtrack demo, because one of my favorite things about this game is the Soviet style anthem music in the background that definitely is harkening back to those old Soviet bloc days. That's the cartridge. Go ahead and listen to the soundtrack for 45 seconds, and I'll be right back with a bit more Sovietborgs. I mean, that music's a vibe, and I actually really like it, even if it does sound a little bit scratchy coming out of this demo. And this is the cartridge. It says that there's only 18 copies made on the cart, but it says 28 copies made on the back of the box. I'm really not sure what's going on there. The developers of this game, when they said they had made 18 cartridges, so I think it might just be a little bit of a misprint on the actual artwork of the case. And you'll see here, not really a manual, just more promotional material inside. But again, I'm just impressed that they decided to actually make physical copies of a demo just to be able to send it to people so they could check it out. Now, if there's one thing I want more of in Sovietborgs, other than the game to be finished so I can play the rest of it, is a little bit more of that Soviet theming. I want the hammer and sickle in here. I want a little bit more of those Soviet vibes going on with artwork and graphics, because if you take a look at any of the posters, those promo materials, or other propaganda from the Soviet Union, they have a very specific aesthetic. And one of the only reasons I know that is in art school, one of my favorite electives was going through those old wartime posters for a class, just kind of talking about them and breaking them down. That was what the entire class was about. It's always something. Artists were hired by governments to make those materials, and some of them are very unique and have a very particular vibe and aesthetic. So I'd like to see more of that brought into Sovietborgs, because even though this obviously takes place in the future, it is still the old Soviet Union in the game. So I want to see a little bit more of that. But as far as the controls, gameplay are concerned, everything works. You have the 8 directions you can play in and shoot in, and you lock it off when you hold the fire button down. I don't know if spinner support is going to come to this, but obviously on Dreamcast with the analog stick, maybe it's a situation where you can actually have full 360-degree range of motion. But a fun thing is just the fact that how many consoles is actually coming out for, and I hope that when I can get a review copy, I'll be able to review the Neo Geo version of the game, just because I'd love to have this on my shelf with all the other Neo Geo games that I do own. But as we gun down these zombies, I just love how bombed out this area is, and if you've never played Captain Quasar before on 3DO, I can't recommend it enough. Absolutely a hidden gem in my opinion. This is the game that it reminds me of the most, and that's definitely a good thing for me. But if that reminds you of any other games out there, leave me the game in the comments down below, because I see Captain Quasar, I see Gauntlet, stuff like Smash TV, Total Carnage, and even Xeno Crisis in the mix here, and those are some awesome games to be inspired by and to be reminded of when you're playing something like this. And I've seen some screenshots of later levels, and they do show those on the actual crowdfunding page as well, with some awesome looking boss fights that I just either don't know if they're in the demo or weren't able to get to them, because this level seems to be the only thing I was able to play. But again, maybe there's something else on the cartridge I just don't know about. But I'm gonna do one more soundtrack sample. Sure, it's about the same music as it was before, but there's just something about it. I think it's the thing that hits the best of this demo. Just the overall vibe, these bombed out colorways, and the music that they pair with all the action. So go ahead and listen for 35 seconds, and I'll be right back with a little bit more. I mean, honestly, I just love the soundtrack in this game so far, and I can't wait to hear what the rest of the music is for the game. And it's one of those things, there's not a ton of games in the bombed out post-apocalyptic Soviet Union era Russia style theming, but we do have the Metro franchise, so it's not like none exist. I will say in the demo everything worked fine except this one zombie emitter here. No matter how much I tried to shoot it, I was not able to destroy it. It seems the zombies get a little bit stacked up there, but I'm sure again as a demo there's going to be a couple bugs and glitches that should be fixed up by the time that the final version of this game comes out. And it's definitely something I will review when the time comes. Hopefully a Neo Geo copy of the game. We'll have to wait and see. But this is definitely one to look forward to if it's in the genre you like. If you like Gauntlet, if you like Captain Quasar, Smash TV, Total Carnage, or otherwise, you're definitely going to have a lot of fun with this one. And again, I've just never seen anyone produce a cartridge for any sort of cart system that is just for demo purposes only. If you can think of any other one, leave me a comment down below. But this is unique even to me to see a demo cartridge come out and then be sent a copy. But Sovietborgs definitely has some promise to it. It's got an awesome soundtrack, a really fun theme and vibe, and it's got just kind of that overall charm that I enjoy. But that's the video, that's the game. Leave me your thoughts down below in the comments, and I'll see you guys next time. Bye-bye.